Hello. My name is Gatsby, and I lived an extravagant life. I threw the most lavish parties and lived a very wealthy lifestyle. Today, I want to tell you about my life through the works of art. Getting shot causes you to lose your artistic abilities, but I don't want to say too much. So here is Draw My Life from Heaven.
I was born in rural North Dakota, living on a poverty-stricken farm. I lived a small lifestyle and always had to work and had almost nothing. From a young age, I knew I was meant for something greater. I always had an obsession with self-improvement. I kept a plan of what I should be doing every day to be successful. I was inspired by Benjamin Franklin's ideas. When I was 17, I was working along Lake Superior and met this rich guy, Dan Cody, and he taught me everything I needed to know about being wealthy. He was a wealthy copper magnate. That's how you know he has money. I had a few conversations with him, and after a while, he was impressed with me, and he was willing to take me under his wing. I also warned him of an impending storm, and he was grateful that I saved his life.
Yes, I wasn't always Jay Gatsby. I was originally James Gatz. After I met Cody, I gave myself a new name to become a new man. A name that wasn't associated with the poor class. A new man and a new name for a rich man. Cody was a very big drunk. After having to take care of him for lots of time, I told myself that I would never get drunk so I wouldn't be like him. But I still wanted to be rich.
After traveling the world with Cody and learning his ways of the rich and living the lifestyle I've always wanted, Cody ended up passing away and I was devastated. I was even more devastated at the fact that I didn't receive anything from him even though I thought I would. His mistress was the one that took everything and didn't leave me a single cent. But she couldn't take away the one important thing that Dan gave me, the knowledge that power and wealth were the keys to success. A few years later, during World War I, I became an officer to help fight in the war, and I was stationed in Louisville, Kentucky, and I met the most beautiful woman, Daisy Faye. She was everything I wanted in life, a life of luxury, privilege, and perfection. We fell madly in love, but being a soldier meant that I couldn't protect her since I had to leave for the war. Before I left, Daisy promised to wait for me, but she broke that promise and she married a wealthy yet arrogant man, Tom Buchanan. I was hurt by this. Not only did I have to fight in a war, I had to come home to learn that the woman I love doesn't love me anymore. This fueled me to be better. She became the symbol of everything I wanted. She became my dream, my motivation, and yet another reason behind my relentless pursuit of wealth. I was willing to do whatever it took to get Daisy back, and that meant being wealthy. In this pursuit, I met a corrupt businessman by the name Meyer Wolfsheim. He got me into the activities of bootlegging, illegal liquor sales, and other shady activities during the Prohibition. After going into this business, I became a wealthy figure and bought a lavish mansion in West Egg. It was directly across the bay from Daisy's home in East Egg. I was able to look out at her house, and every time I looked out, I was convinced all of this money could help me get Daisy back in my life. To get her back, I threw legendary parties to draw her into my house so I could have her once again and have what once was. A few years later, I met this old sport named Nick Carraway. He helped me to meet Daisy once again after all of these years. I was very nervous, but I was overwhelmed and happy to see her. I felt like my dream was coming together. Unfortunately, everything went wrong. I noticed that Daisy wasn't the same girl I met all of those years ago. She was settled living with Tom and wanted to be with him, and she didn't want to be with me, wanting to leave us in the past. I wanted Daisy to admit that she never loved Tom so she could be with me. But Tom didn't like that. He exposed all of my illegal dealings and made me out to be a monster. That night, coming back from New York City, Daisy and I were driving in my car and hit this woman who ended up being Tom's mistress. We didn't know what to do and panicked, and we just drove away, and I was willing to take the blame. I waited for Daisy to call me, saying that she left Tom and wanted to be with me. However, she never did. I was shocked by this, because she loved to talk with me and loved everything I had, especially my shirts. Trying to hide my pain, I went to the pool before my butler drained it, since the summer was ending. As I was lying in the pool for the first time in forever, I was unfortunately shot by Wilson. He was the husband of the woman who he hit coming back from New York City. Apparently, Tom found out and told him that it was me, and out of rage, Wilson shot me, and I unfortunately died, believing in my dream that Daisy would come back to me, and now she never will. When I died, almost no one came to my funeral. The only people that came were the people who cared. Nick, my dad, some of my servants, and only one guest. Daisy never came. Daisy and Tom both left West Egg and never looked back. This is when I realized that I was living my whole life around a lie. I thought that money could buy happiness and I could recreate the past if I worked hard enough. But that wasn't true. Sometimes you just have to let the past go. I wish I learned that lesson sooner in life.
We bring the boom! That's what we do! We bring the boom!